pace car is off. Kyle Busch is set to lead the field to the green flag for the first race of the round of 12 here from Texas Motor Speedway, the worst track on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. It's underway. Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, Martin Truex Jr. all up at the top 5 playoff drivers, and you see the playoff banners officially finally on the cars thanks to Jay going and doing some behind the scenes work here just before we recorded. But Jay, immediately one thing that stands out, look who does not have a playoff banner. Kyle Larson eliminated in round 1 of the playoffs. An absolute shock to both of us here as he's now running up at the top 5 starting the day in Texas.
Certainly shocking to see one of our drivers who have been one of the strongest people all season long eliminated from that first round, but he had a really rough first round, and those first 3 races were enough to get him eliminated. And you can see already here in Texas, he's not going to go away very quietly, Gary. He is right now going to take away that second place from Tyler Reddick. Ryan Blaney right behind them as well. Both playoff drivers behind Kyle Larson right now. He doesn't care about that, though. He wants to go lead this race, win this race as well. And there's 3 wide right here between 2 playoff drivers, 1 non-playoff driver, and they got really close to the off-corner exit. Been able to make it work, Gary. If we see 4 wide like that, we will definitely see a crash.
And there you see more 3 wide as we exit turn 4. Logano and Bowman going at it right there. There was potentially a little bit of contact there, and fortunately for Truex, he's not the worst running playoff driver. Look at behind him, Ross Chastain in the number 1 car, struggling quite heavily right now series, and I think he'll prove that potentially next season. However, you're still getting rid of a driver that's, yes, 35 plus years old, who now heads onto the pit lane, but clearly is still capable of winning races and competing for a championship. Is it a win or a loss, do you think? I honestly don't know yet if it's a win or a loss for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Also a future Hall of Famer who will not end his career with Joe Gibbs Racing and perhaps have a little bit of a stain. Entire field now coming to the pit lane this lap. Maybe one car, that might be Austin Dillon, staying out. He's trying to get to the pit lane, actually, and he's going to run through the grass.
Oh, my God.
That's going to be certainly a penalty, I would think. If not, we might see Austin Dillon lead this race.
It doesn't matter. Oh, there's an issue, though, right there, Jay. The number 1 of Chastain on the pits there. Playoff implications here in Texas Motor Speedway. We don't know if that's a penalty or a mechanical. He's sitting there for a while. They'll definitely be looking for something here as they come through 3. Here goes Hamlin up the inside. Kyle Busch out of turn 4 on this final lap of the stage will come through to win stage 1 here from Texas Motor Speedway. Jones is going to be 2nd, Hamlin 3rd, Kyle Larson in 4th. There's to see Chastain cross the line 6 laps down as the rest of the field comes through. Playoff implications. We're ready to go green for the start of stage 2. However, Kurt Busch, playoff contender, is not ready. He's absolutely not ready. He is coming into the pit lane, so that is going to be big there. J2 playoff drivers now with issues. Chastain as well as Kurt Busch there, and well, you know what, fortunately for the field, those are the 2 guys at the very bottom of the cut line. However, you know what, if there's one round where you can afford to have issues in the first race, this is probably the one, because you can just go to Talladega and survive a potential disaster and move on just because of that. Austin Cindric actually has now entered towards the top 20. That 42 looks quite a bit off the pace here on the outside, doesn't he? Definitely looks like there's some form of issue. Denny Hamlin's going for the move on Kyle Busch. Jay, this would be the first time anyone else has led, and he might see the disaster brewing. He wants to get that position as quick as he can because he doesn't want to have to deal with that number 42 causing potentially a big violent accident in front of him.
Not able to carry that speed at all into turn 3. Hamlin takes the lead away from Kyle Busch. Our first different leader of this race. Still a Toyota, though, is right behind him. Eric Almirola is still ahead. Worked his way ahead now of actually Kevin Harvick, who Chase Elliott also works ahead of as well. Harvick, once he gets up to that outside lane, I would have to think he's maybe in 1 or 2 right now.
Well, you see the side-by-side battle there for the lead. You see Ty Dillon's in the middle of the corner, so I would assume within another lap or 2. Oh, what has happened there? Denny Hamlin's out of the groove, and he is way off the pace. He is significantly off the pace as Ty Dillon was recently. What has happened there, Jay? We saw him lose pace immediately and then suddenly drive into the side of his teammate Kyle Busch. Clearly something wrong with the number 11, one of the playoff favorites and dominant drivers of the late summer.
Had just taken the lead away from Kyle Busch and had a massive issue right there. We're going to have a message. I can't speak. Massive issue right there, too. But Kyle Busch all the way up out of the groove, up into the 3rd lane.
We got a crash.
We got a crash with the 77.
Here's a look at what happened as Denny Hamlin is trying to get down to the pit lane in front of the 14. The 77 of Landon Castle runs into the back of the 14 and single-handedly wrecks himself. And big damage there to that number 77 as Denny Hamlin would head into the pits.
3 wide off turn 4 that time.
Oh!
Last time we saw those contact might be 4 wide. Bubba Wallace speaking to the apron, didn't take it though, and if we had seen 4 wide right there, most definitely would have been a crash, but did not do that. Right there as Bubba Wallace goes by on the inside. Chase Elliott all the way up in the third groove is actually going to be able to kind of use that third groove to his advantage off turn 2. Was able to get a good run down this back straightaway.
Suarez, Harvick leads the way. Truex is getting turned in the background. Through the grass he goes. He saves it. That's the second biggest save we've seen today. And oh my God, he nearly caused death right there.
Came over the radio and said he might have won the battle, but he ain't gonna win the war.
Oh,
Chase Elliott. Wow, another save.
What is going on here in Texas? Unbelievable stuff, Jay. These guys are going at it. Outside of the top 10, there's the playoff driver of Logano. You see a little bit of damage on him. That was from that pit lane incident we showed you at the end of that final, or that last pit stop there. As well as you see Austin Dillon, he still scored 1 lap down. So, do we have another car off the pace? Daniel Suarez is off the pace here into turn 1. What is going on? This is the 3rd time in stage 2, specifically, Jay, that we've seen this happen. And once again, he's out of the way of everybody. Kevin Harvick is your stage winner. It was scored at the end of lap 80. We were so caught up in the mess right there with Daniel Suarez. So you see the scoreboard on your left top of the screen. That is the official scoring of stage 2. But the caution does come out 1 lap later, which does not actually look like it really changed anything, thankfully.
He is absolutely hauling the mail right now so far to start this stage number 3. His teammate of Alex Bowman trying to follow behind, as is another playoff driver, Ryan Blaney. As Keselowski loses some spots now, so does Eric Jones up in that outside lane. So right now, a couple of Hendrick boys trying to make their way back forward. Again, we saw Bowman have some really good speed there towards the end of stage 2. Same thing for Byron. Well, now Elliott is finally showing that speed. Larson had it earlier in the race, Gary, but has been kind of falling off ever since.
Elliott's had a fast car all race long, just hasn't quite had things go his way, but now he's in position to make things go his way. He's past the 18. He's now up the inside of William Byron. If you're Kevin Harvick, you might want to run, because here comes that Napa Auto Parts machine of Chase Elliott. It's been a heck of a season for Chase Elliott. Only 2 race wins, but he's had several stage wins there. Byron clear down into turn 3, and Alex Bowman creeping into the mix again as well. Hendrick Motorsports is absolutely on it. Kyle Larson, by the way, into the top 10 again as well. He's moving his way back forward. We should be seeing pit stops sometime within the next 10 or less laps now. Larson up the inside of Alex Bowman here into turn 3. That number 5 is moving. He has been a very fast on playoff driver. Who could have expected that now?
Kyle Busch is certainly, I think, posing a really good threat to them. There goes Harvick to the pit lane, so Harvick's going to be the first one on. Nobody else follows him unless they are back inside or just back outside the top 15. And yeah, not a single person. Maybe, Gary, they feel like they can't make it quite yet, which is, if that's the case.
And there you see Chase Elliott, who's got a huge gap over Kyle Busch, but Harvick's about to have an even larger gap than Elliott has over Kyle Busch here as they exit turn 2. Look at that difference there in what was about 2.5 to 3/10 of a second. Well, now we might be talking about 2.5 to 3 seconds here. Can Martin Truex Jr., who's moved up into 3rd place, what a rebounded spin for Truex. Can he run down Elliott before this race is over? Bowman's trying to pass the 18 to Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch had such a strong early part of the day. Stage 1 just hasn't quite had the pace since then. However, is still consistently run in the top 5. As you see, Bubba Wallace as well running P6. A great day for him. And there you see Cody Ware passing a NASCAR Cup Series champion right there of Martin Truex Jr. And Chase Elliott did gain a little bit more time again. 2.3 seconds here, and actually Harvick has got Todd Gilliland all over the back of him, which, interesting, Jay. We watched Harvick run down and pass Todd Gilliland. Now this time Gilliland is sticking right on his back bumper. Maybe that 4 is losing a little bit of that pace here.
Right now Harvick is having some issues because Elliott is running him down much quicker than he was before. That time, let's see what it is when it crosses the line. It goes down to 1.63, so just under a tenth that time for Elliott. He needs to gain 4 tenths again in 1 lap, not just only 1. Now Cody Ware can play some devil's advocate here and spin Kevin Harvick, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Down this back straightaway into turn 3 and 4 for the final time. Harvick up to the outside lane. It's bad. That's bad for him, but obviously, I mean, look how far back Chase Elliott is, and no challenge at all. Harvick off turn 4 is going to win in Texas, Gary. We've seen him win here before, and he's going to be locked into the round of 8 as well.
Alex Bowman, Truex, Kyle Busch inside the top 5. Well, William Byron with a very good day when he needed one as well. I think he's going to be above the cut line now. And of course, drivers in the playoffs that struggled today. Truex, who rebounded to a fantastic finish. However, drivers that didn't have such a good finish, being Ross Chastain in 37th place, 37-38 for Trackhouse Racing today. And as well, Kurt Busch, 32nd place, Denny Hamlin 30th. 3 playoff drivers with rough days. 2 of those were already below the cut line coming in to kick off the day here from Texas. But Kevin Harvick in victory.